Hi, today we're talking about goal setting because what you can measure, you can manage. And we really want to be able to set some goalposts for you along your journey that you want to take to reach your ideal weight. We'll talk about your goal setting, chunking your goal down into small pieces that are manageable. Because remember, your brain needs it to be easy and it needs certainty that you are motivated to do this. And you will avoid procrastination when you have a plan written down and you know exactly what your next step is that you need to take. So we'll be working through that with you. Now, you've probably heard of SMART goals before. Being specific, measurable, attainable or achievable, realistic, and time-bound. We also put an S at the end of it because you need to be able to smile. If this isn't a pleasurable thing that you're going to be working towards, then guess what? Your motivation is going to die and you're not going to work towards it. So it has to be something that you're really driven towards. And going back to those reasons of why you wanted to do that can be a great boost for your motivation to get there. So it needs to be specific. So think about what is the specific weight that you want to get to. So it could be when you get on the scales, what weight shows, or it could be a body fat measurement. It could potentially be a waist measurement, or it could be clothing sizes. But that, can vary dependent upon manufacturer. So there might be a particular clothes that you've worn in the past that you want to be able to get back into, and that might be your goal. So you need to have a specific goal as to what it is that you want to achieve. So you can measure that. You can get on those scales and see that this is where your progress is at. You can get that tape measure out and see where your progress is. It needs to be attainable. So it's better for you to set this goal to be maybe over 12 months than saying that you're going to get this done in 3 months. We can achieve more than we think we can over the long term, but often we put too much pressure on ourselves thinking that we're going to achieve an unrealistic goal in a short term, and then we get demotivated. So it's better off just to go slow, of expecting potentially that you might have only, weeks where when you get on the scales that it's really only showing maybe 100 gram movement. And there may be other weeks where it's a kilo. Whatever it is, it's going to potentially fluctuate depending upon all sorts of things, from hormones to your eating. Even sometimes some of the things that we eat can bloat our stomach, and when we're doing measurements, it's different now than what it might have been 5 hours ago before we had breakfast. So your goal needs to be attainable and realistic. You can actually do this. So it's your ideal weight, what you want to move towards. And then, of course, we're going to actually put some particular time as to when you want to get this done. So it could be at the end of 2017, this is when you want to be. So that you have got something to go back and measure this from. So I'd ask you now to write down what is the overall goal. This is the date you want to achieve it. A good thing to do is to write it in the date that you want. So if you want to achieve this by the 31st of December 2017, then you can write it in terms of it's the 31st of December 2017 and I am X number of kilos or so many centimeters around my waist, or I'm size, whatever, and I feel amazing. Really help your brain to get there by making it seem like you have already attained it. Because then it's about putting this little question in your head. It's a how question. How many ways can I enjoyably do activities that are going to help me reach my ideal weight? Put some goalposts in mind along the way of by whatever date or by whatever the end of whatever cycle you are going to ideally be this. so that you've got something that you can measure yourself against as you go. Then we need to break it down into small chunks and some activities that you can do every day. What I'd ask you to do is to think about 3 main areas that would have the biggest difference for you in moving to your ideal weight. A suggestion that I would have would be your foods and eating, your physical activity, and potentially maybe your emotional management. For you, it could be a little bit different. It could be about your environment and ensuring that you've got the right support to get there. And we want to start, first of all, knowing what you need to do to get there. So you might not, at this point in time, feel comfortable to start your physical activity or to change your food. Maybe you first need to do something like throw out the unhealthy food, or perhaps you want to go to the doctor and get a health assessment done so that you've got more things that you can measure in terms of your health along the way. So I'm going to go through an activity with you, and I'll get you to write some notes about for what are the key areas that you want to work on. So come up with 3 things that are going to be of help to you. And I'll go through an example of using physical activity, food, and emotional management of some quick things that you can put down on your plan of activities that you might want to do. So on your piece of paper, start with your goal at the top. That specific, measurable, time-bound, realistic goal, have that at the top. That you'll be X number of kilos by whatever date, or a waist measurement, or whatever it is. And then underneath that goal, you'll have 3 boxes potentially with the 3 core areas that are going to have the greatest impact towards you achieving that goal. So first of all, I'll break down a little bit the fuel in, or the food. So I've chosen to break that down into 3 core areas again, but it could be less than 3. I would suggest not doing more than 3. It's just becomes too hard to handle. So the 3 that I've suggested here could be healthy meals, reducing sugar, detoxing, but it could be portion sizes or a whole range of different things, but you can tie them into potentially each other. So I'll start to chunk down the first option, which was healthy meals. Now again, you could have core areas that you break that healthy meals down into, but I've chosen just in this case just to take it into steps, because I think I could work that out for myself, but it really depends on you. So I've got some steps of, first of all, researching some recipes and then writing a shopping list. I guess the next step would actually be shopping and then bringing the food home. You'd be preparing the meals, and potentially you could freeze meals if you are bulk preparing meals. So of the other core areas, portion sizes and eating out, again, it's just about thinking about how would you work out what the steps are. For portion sizes, it could be, as an example, that you might want to research, portion sizes. Eating out, it could also be that you want to research different types of cuisines as some suggestions as to what the healthy options. I'll move into physical activity, and for this I've just chosen to break it down into 1 core thing of plan, but again, it really depends on you as to where you think you want to break it down. There could be 2 or 3 different core areas within that. So for plan, I've broken it down into 2 core areas of 1, scheduling the time, and then preparing what gear or equipment I might need for that activity. So breaking that down further, for scheduling time, it could be as simple as setting an alarm. So doing that on your mobile phone or through your clock radio alarm clock that you wake up to. And for gear, it could be breaking that down into the different things. So shoes and clothes. It could also be having your keys or, whatever else you might take with you, like a water bottle that you're using as part of your preparation for doing your physical activity. So then potentially you could break that down even further as to, do you need to check to make sure that you have suitable shoes? Do you need to purchase shoes? For clothes, what have you got in your closet? Again, do you need to purchase something? Surely, probably not. But that's just the idea of breaking it down into simple steps as to then you can go, what is step one? Step one is to check my closet. Step two is to purchase something if I need it. Step three is to have it ready to go before you go to bed at night, or whatever the steps are that you're going to have. So you've got a step-by-step plan and know what your next step is that you need to do. So having a quick look at the next core area, which I chose, was manage emotions. So I've chosen to split this up into reducing stress, happiness, and mindset. But you could choose whatever core areas work for you. So for stress reduction, I've just got the one core thing there of deep breaths, but you could also have meditation, and with that it might be learn how to meditate. Before you do that, you might want to download some relaxing music or an audio so that you know how to meditate. So it's just getting it down to what step is the first step, and then what's the step after that. Happiness, I've got as one, so it could be, scheduling comedy. So it could be, watching YouTube videos of stand-up comedians every day or once a week, and when you schedule that in. Show gratitude. It might be a daily practice of taking the opportunity to write in a gratitude journal, or, before you go to bed at night, just thinking about what you're grateful for. Mindset. I've got, making small commitments. So you're breaking each of those down so that you know what your next step is going to be. And then potentially you will choose what are going to be maybe the 3 things that are going to give you the greatest impact now, and work on those steps. And then you've got a plan that you can come back to grab the other ones as you need to. Okay, so what I'd suggest you do now is to schedule any reminders, or remind yourself to schedule the reminders if you still need to work through that plan. So you've now got a plan to move towards your ideal weight. You've got some little steps, and know what the next step after that potentially may be. So you're on your way to reaching your ideal weight. So I've got one last module for you tomorrow. It's a little bit of a bonus to really help get that mind on board. So please stay tuned. Drop in tomorrow and let us know what's been your greatest learning today. I look forward to hearing your comments. Have a great day. Bye.